I'll keep my voice down just a bit. I don't want to blow your ears out, but good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out to our town hall. If I have not yet personally met you, my name is Pastor Hector. I'm the school pastor here at the Rock School, and it is my joy and privilege to welcome you all to our town hall. It's going to be a great night together. When I was asked to open up our time together in prayer, I thought, in light of what we're going to embark on tonight, as we work together as a community, I felt it was incredibly fitting to do a liturgy reading. How many of you are familiar with liturgy readings? Oh, good, good. If you're not familiar, I hope that you enjoy this. This is a real act of togetherness, which is what we're hoping for tonight as we look into the future of what the Rock School will become. And so I'll give you a couple instructions. We're going to project the words of this reading. It's like a prayer to God, a collective prayer to God. I will read the words in white, and I want to invite you to read the words in blue. The title of this liturgy is called A Liturgy for the Labors of Community, and I thought it was incredibly fitting for what we're going to do tonight. And it's from this book here called Every Moment Holy, Volume 1. If you don't have it, I highly recommend it. It really tries to emphasize the sacredness of everyday, regular moments. And so I believe this moment here and now is sacred as we strategically plan for the future of the Rock School. So I want to invite you to join me as we do this reading together. Again, I will read the words in white, and you out loud can read the words in blue. You guys ready? All right, let's do this. Our lives are so small, O Lord. Our courage so frail. Therefore, give us grace and guidance for the journey ahead. We are gathered here because we believe that we are called together into a work we cannot yet know the fullness of. And so we offer to you, O God, these things. Shape them as you will. May they be invested toward bright, eternal ends. Shepherd us well, lest we grow enamored of our own accomplishment or entrenched in old habit. Instead, let us listen for your voice. Our hearts are ever open to the quiet beckonings of your Spirit in this endeavor. You alone, O God, by your gracious and life-giving Spirit, have power to knit our imperfect hearts, our weaknesses, our strengths, our stories, and our gifts one to another. May our acts of service and creation, frail and wanting as they are, be met and multiplied by the mysterious workings of your Spirit, who weaves all things together toward a redemption more good and glorious than we have eyes to see or courage to hope for. Let all that we do here in these our brief lives, in this our brief moment to love, in this the work you have ordained for this community, flower in winsome and beautiful foretastes of greater glories yet to come. O Spirit of God, now shape our hearts. O Spirit of God, now guide our hands. O Spirit of God, now build your kingdom among us. Amen. Thank you, guys. You guys did very, very well. Please welcome Head of School, Erica Heisey.
That was fun. All right. Thank you for being here. Seriously, because if you don't work here, I think you're amazing for being here, because my rule is Once I go home, I don't go out again. So I don't know if you came straight from your work or you are just better than me. But I seriously am thankful because like 6, 7 o'clock, I'm at home. So you guys are terrific. So the goal is for me not to talk a lot tonight. So I'm going to keep this brief, but I want to get us all started on the same page. I have some people who have been here for many, many years, and some of you, this is your first year at the Rock School. So I wanted to share some information, and some of y'all who have been here a long time might not keep up with our stats. So I'm going to start by sharing some information to give you a framework, kind of like our current state of address, our school profile, if you will. So you kind of know what the current reality is of the Rock School. How does that sound? Let me grab my water. Okay. So recently we've started doing vision visits at the Rock School where people can come to learn more, and these are some of the statistics that we share. Our school is celebrating, this is our 33rd school year, 32nd, I always get this wrong, 33rd. Thank you, Justin. In those 33 years, we have only had 3 heads of school. Anybody been here for all 3? Any Mr. Bob people still in the audience? Yeah, several of them. We have 600 students from 6 weeks old to 12th grade. We are limited by Alachua County, and quite honestly, even if they said we could have 700, there's no place to put them. And so, and y'all have all been through the car line, you know we can't handle any more there. So we are at max capacity. We have about 100 teachers and staff, full-time teachers and staff. Just this week, we ran our stats. We serve 68 local churches now in our student body. And 90% of our families say on their enrollment or applications that they attend church regularly. We have 2 safety officers that you guys know and love. And we have almost exactly 10 acres on our campus. Okay. Along with those statistics, we just graduated our first IB class in May, and a lot of people have been wondering, will this whole IB thing work? It works. So let me give you some of our statistics. We had a 92% pass rate of our students in the full IB path, full diploma pathway. Honestly, I was hoping 1 would pass. I'm not kidding you. Now I'm going to be transparent. I was like, Lord, if 1 can pass, and like, I'll love you even more, Lord, if it's my kid, okay? And 12 out of 13 of our full diploma students passed, and with the full diploma. Our pass rate is a 92%, which is way above the world average, which was 81%. And so I don't know how else to tell you how amazing this is, but except to say this is absolutely amazing. And like, students' hard work met the Spirit of God, and I think that's the results. So there we go. All right. So what does this mean? It means a lot of college credits. And so I think Mr. Bolin, our DP coordinator, did a whole bunch of stat running here, 384 college credits. This is what's even more impressive. 100% of our senior class got English credit from their IB exams. Every single one got at least ENC 1101, and depending on their score, quite a few of them got enough credit for ENC 1101 and ENC 1102. That is amazing. The other amazing thing, because they whined about it a whole bunch, is in DP Theater, every single student passed that class in that class as well. And so these, again, I don't know how else to say it, but you have to trust me. They're just amazing numbers. But here's what it means for your pocketbook. All of those kids who earned the full diploma got automatic Bright Future scholarships. meaning the IB diploma trumps all the score requirements. So if their SAT, ACT, or GPA did not meet the 100% Bright Futures, they still got it. And for our kids, that means 8 kids who wouldn't have received it based on their scores or GPA did because they received the IB diploma. And so these are just amazing statistics. I am just, honestly, I'm just so thankful. I am so thankful. I just admitted my secret prayer was 1, Lord, and 92%. It's just so exciting. I'm very proud of this. All right. So, and a little bit of history of our strategic planning. So, you are taking part in our 3rd strategic plan. Our strategic plans are written for 5-year increments. Our first one was done in 2015, shortly after I became principal, so I remember this one well. And this one was much like what we're doing right now. It started with a parent satisfaction survey, followed up with a town hall just like this. So it was your parent input that drove that first strategic plan in 2015. And out of those things up there, I would say this whole strategic plan was really focused around growth. Actual physical growth of our campus and our student body. We added our modular because of that plan. We grew from about 300 students that year. I think we had 310 if I remember correctly, to where we are now at just over 600. And really there was this phrase that the consultant who helped us walk through that plan, and he said something about becoming an irreplaceable asset to our community. And all I can tell you is that when he said those 2 words, God lit them on fire in my heart. I don't know how else to explain it. And I really feel like over the last 10 years, the Lord has done that work, and the Rock School has become an irreplaceable asset in this community. That makes me super proud. Then in 2020, literally 1 month before the COVID shutdowns, we went into our 2nd strategic planning cycle. And this one was a pedagogical lead team driven plan, meaning the leaders of teaching and learning, we went away with a goal of researching deeper learning models. And we came up with IB. So this is known as the IB Decision Strategic Plan. And this really was more focused on this strategic plan now that we had growth, really developing excellence in every area. And so many of the things that we're still doing are coming out of that. If you've read the emails recently, you know our PYP authorization is this Thursday and Friday. And so literally we're going to see that plan come to fruition. Super exciting. So you can flip that, Sally. Thank you. So that's a history. So was that April or May that we did the survey? I don't know, the end of last school year, you guys took a parent satisfaction survey. And these are the results. We haven't shared them with parents yet. I wanted those of you who came to be the first ones who saw it. Our staff has seen some of this. But basically, the Net Promoter Score, I don't know if you're familiar with that term, it is a metric that measures customer satisfaction and loyalty. And a lot of big companies and corporations use a Net Promoter Score, and you'll see some of the ones on the bottom. The highest score is Apple at 61. And the Rock School, our Net Promoter Score was a 60 based off of your survey feedback. And that is excellent. I think world class is defined as 80% nationally, but our goal is to be above a 70. And so another way to look at it, the dark blue there, or the dark teal, is very satisfied, and the lighter one is satisfied. And so almost all of our parents were satisfied with the Rock School. You can see 2% were not. Oh, here's some quotes. My daughter is getting a great education, but more importantly, she's surrounded by teachers and staff who care about her and show her love. And the second one I love, and I think it's perfect for tonight, the school is always open to receiving feedback, both positive and negative, processing that feedback and striving to improve. I will say there were probably hundreds of comments on that survey. Thank you. We read every single one. I read them more than once. And so putting them in AI, categorizing them, doing all the things with them. A couple of them I vowed to never read again. I joke. Okay, so there's a couple slides here with information. So this first slide are what we call the thrill me categories. So these are things that you said are, if you think back to the survey, it's like, how important to you is this, and how well are we doing it? That was basically the framework. These are things that are important to you, and we're doing them well. Okay, so the thrill me category, and you see all kinds of things up there. Christ-like teachers, amen. If we weren't doing that well, that would be a problem. Safe campus, pick up, drop off. See, y'all said we're doing that well. Board leadership, you know, all kinds of things. Biblical integration, parent involvement. Thank you. I agree with you. I do think we consistently do these things well. And then this last category are areas for growth or improvement. And so these are things that you said are important to you, but you'd like to see us do better at them. And honestly, I'm so glad you're here, and maybe you guys can help me figure out what some of these mean, because I'm not 100% sure on all of them, but we're going to dive into that a little bit tonight. And some of these, I'm not surprised, and we were talking earlier, if they wouldn't be on here, we would be so unusual. School communication is something that always needs to be improved. As you grow, you need better communication. As new people come in, better communication. As new ideas are introduced, like International Baccalaureate, standards-based grading, TOEFL, we need better communication. So we are not surprised. Okay, so that's it. I'm really done talking, but I'm going to give the mic next. Where's Jolynn? All right, so Jolynn Cadell, Miss Cadell, if you haven't met her, she is our new elementary principal. This is her first year on the job, and I'm going to let her give her reaction to all of this information to you guys.
So hello, everybody. Again, my name is Jolynn Cadell, and seeing the faces and stuff that are here tonight, I have either taught your child, interacted with your child, or in the past 3 weeks, maybe given you a phone call, which is totally great. So when we were looking through these this afternoon and kind of just going through it, and being in my first year, I don't want to say like I wasn't surprised, but I was actually thinking about just how much this allows us to continue to strive towards excellence and to be able to work as a community. We had lunch together today, and one of the things like I was really excited about was we actually get to partner with our parents to make decisions for our school. My background is in public school, and for those of you that have had experience in public school know you really don't get to partner or have a say. And with this format, you guys actually get to have a voice and input that's going to impact your child's future. So, thank you.
All right, up next, Erica Littauer, our upper school principal.
Thanks. So I came to the Rock School about 25 years ago as a high school student, and when I came, the biggest thing that impacted me was that as an individual, my strengths and my gifts and my interests were honored while I became part of just a rich community. And so my vision, my goal for our middle and high school students especially, as I work with them directly, is that their individual passions would be nurtured and that they would flourish individually within the wholeness that is a community, and really a community of the kingdom. And in looking at some of these areas of growth, I just see that same message echoed, where we're looking for opportunities for individuals to grow in light of this broader community. So thank you guys for coming.
All right, and that really is our portion of the evening. So now I'm going to give the mic to Nathan Sabenga, our favorite Canadian who's come all the way here to help us with this endeavor.
Thanks, Erica. Welcome, everybody. My name's Nathan. It's so good to be with you. It's nice to be. I got a chance to come to the campus for the first time, even though I've worked with a number of your leaders actually for almost 5 years. I've been working sort of as a third-party consultant leadership coach within this community. But to walk onto this campus was, I said at lunchtime, it added another dimension to this whole experience at the Rock School. So just to be here with you is just, it's very rich, and the word grateful just keeps kind of coming up for me. Tonight, the goal is for us to kind of get your voice. And so it really won't be a lot of me talking. It'll be me facilitating the conversation at your tables. And you'll notice there's big pads in front of you with markers, which means you're coming here to write, doodle, make sure we can see and hear what you have to share and what you want to share. And so what I want to encourage those who are not at a table, I'd encourage you to come sit at a table. Let's fill up tables. So why don't we do that now? Also, can we just do this? If you want to get a water, because this is now the activity time, let's just get a 30 seconds, go get yourself a water and a snack, and then come back to the table, and then we'll get started, okay? And then we can, make sure our tables are nice and equal.
We get all your words. Yeah. So not on the stage, but like up in between those front two tables, and then just hold the mic up.
I want to tell them that we're recording as well. So. As you come back to your table, just a little note, we are recording this tonight. I want to make sure everybody knows that this is being recorded, and we'll be using it for all sorts of reasons. So for those to see it later, as well as we're going to be doing some summarizing of the conversation that we hear throughout. As you make your way back, be sure to introduce yourself at the table. Maybe share what grade your child's in. And while you're doing that, I'll kind of talk over you. I used to be head of school of a Christian school, high school, and was a part of the book study that someone in this community, Bill Latham, was a part of. And I was a part of, I think the name of the book was Humanizing the Education Machine. And that was in 2014 to 16 that we did that project. And we went all across North America. And then in that space, I met Jim and intersected with Jim. Jim's come to my school, or came to my school in Hamilton, Ontario. And then he's done a number of things there. And we sort of like just became friends, educators and lovers of Christian education, and flourishing and seeing our children flourish. And then he introduces me to Erica, and he introduces me to Jen and to Hector and to Erica. And you just get this sense that what's being shared by the parents is just so rich within this community. So it's just so nice to be with you. I don't lead a school anymore. I now work with many schools, helping them navigate their way. So let's do this now. The goal of tonight, again, I said, was to get your voices onto this paper. We're going to do a couple of activities. And our hope is to take that information and then inform a retreat, like Erica explained earlier, in October when we come back together as leadership, and we're going to then pick out the strategy for the next 5 years. Okay, so first things first. The first, what I'm hoping you will do at your table is you're going to answer the first question. So the first question is, what stands out from the data? Okay, so you just got 2 slides, and maybe Sally, we can flip between them. What stands out to you at your table? What's standing out to you from the data? So what's standing out? So this thing that just popped in your head. Okay, you're going to write it down. Sorry, you're going to write it down on your page. Okay, so what stands out? You ready? This is our practice into the activity. Okay. As many as you want. Okay? What surprises you? Sorry, not surprise you. What stands out? What stands out? Okay? What's standing out to you? Yes. Yeah. Or anything that was shared tonight. Yeah. Sorry. What stands out from the data? Like, you're getting information. What stands out to you? Yeah. Okay. All right. So take a second. That's the first activity. The next ones are going to be similar. Good work. I just wanted to try it out, see how it worked, see what the timing was like, see how everybody's feeling at their tables. The next question, similar. Was there anything missing in the data, in what you saw up there? Was there something that you were kind of coming here with going, I didn't see that there? Is there anything missing? Okay, so that's the next question. What's missing up there? Oh, Sally, thank you. Sure, do another sheet, go for it. Sure, use a different color, get a different writer. Okay, you got about a minute left on this one. About a minute left. Okay. Wrap up your last thought. Wrap up your last thought. Okay, at each table, we're going to, this is sort of a giant community game of Boggle. Who remembers the game Boggle? Okay, so what we're going to do is somebody at the table is going to hold up their list. They're going to read their list, just like we would the words in the Boggle game. And if someone at another table says yours, you just put a check mark beside yours. Okay? And once you put that check mark on, when it's your turn to go, if you have nothing on your list, no problem. We've got it all. We've got your voice checked off on another sheet. Okay? So what we're going to do, someone who is not a staff member at the Rock School is going to speak into the mic so that we can make sure it's getting recorded. Yeah, and it was right beside my computer. Non-staff member. And if you're anything like my house, it's a race to go first. Who's going first? Oh, we got it right here. All right. Team one? Team fun. Okay, so team fun. Team fun's ready to go. Please just share your name. So actually for everybody.
Hi, I'm Becky.
Hi, Becky. And so can somebody hold it up, non-staff related? Okay, so Becky's going to give us the list. And when we're done, some non-staff member is going to tear off that Post-it and put it against the black wall. Okay? Everybody else, get ready to check ones that you have.
Okay.
Okay, go.
We like that there was more thrills than opportunities for growth. Yay. For our opportunities for growth, we noticed that many of them were character-based. Something we noted that we love teacher character, but we could use more communication. We were a little questionable about what does the positive peers thing, so we kind of like developed our thinking as we went. Something we noticed from the areas for opportunities for growth were the extracurriculars. We would like to see more opportunities for like more variety and student-led clubs. We want to create longevity and the kids that want to stay here, so like their involvement will make them want to stay. And then we asked a question, what is our identity outside of like the big sports and arts? So kids that don't quite fit into those. We want more fun. We feel like fun is a little bit missing. We have fun. A lot of us have older kids. We feel like we have a lot of fun when they're little and maybe not quite as much fun when they're older. We want to have some joy and having a good time. We want to have loving classmates. We want to have our kids realize that if they don't have the relationships, they can start small and grow. Bonfires and campfires. You want to explain that one? No? You want me to explain it? Okay. So we need bonfire moments. So like the big things where the kids can plan and it's fun for the whole community. And then we need the campfire moments where it's just more smaller community building. So we have stuff that they can, build community. So we want community building for the kids. We love, though, the collaboration between the big kids and the little kids, but we want more of that. We would love to see, like, high school and middle school buddies with elementary. So that's us.
And that was, sorry, you got the missing as well, right? You got the second one there, too. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, fun.
All right, let's, Becky, can I have the mic? Who's next? Over here. I'll go here because they're closer. Team name first. I'm joking.
Team Pester Heck. So we wrote several things as well, but we're going to focus more on the missing. And we know that this list was really parent-driven by the customer survey, but we thought that there wasn't obviously an input of student feedback, so we know what we would like to see, but like they mentioned on the other team, there's a big part of the student feedback there. They would like to see what's missing, what would they like to see, what allows them to grow, what makes them tick. Facility and space. Is this it? Are we trying to grow? Are we not trying to grow? Is there an overall vision for growth, or do we want to just keep it at this campus? Is there a second campus vision? Again, are we looking to keep the student-teacher ratio down, or is it to just go from 300 to 600 to 1,200 in another 5 years? Will the IB diploma be expanded? Different pathways? Is there a different segregation, perhaps, of what has already been laid out? And life skill courses. As an opportunity for growth, we feel like a lot of it is just academically driven, math, history, so on and so forth. But are there other opportunities to where kids can be taught financial literacy, things that really prepare them for, year one of not being under their parents' roofs, or if you're not in college, are there other things that they are going to encounter that we could prepare them for?
Okay. Oh, you have to hold it? Okay. So for what stands out, we didn't think academically prepared really needed an improvement, even though it was on the list. What? Okay. So we thought the dissatisfaction with conflict resolutions and discipline might be tied together. We were interested in learning more. We were interested in learning more about the culture of respect. The success rate, we were pleasantly surprised at the 92%, since we're so new at this, and we want to see how that does in year 2 and year 3, and if it maintains. We said the data is very academic based, and we don't really have an answer, but if we could somehow measure like the impact we're having on the kids as following Christ and being disciples, and how they're living their lives after they leave the school. If we had more participation in the survey, would the results be different? And we think they would maybe be better, because we're assuming very involved parents did it, but also the ones who are angry about something.
I got a chance to see the data, and the response rate in this community was astronomical, just so you know. Like, I think the number was 47% responded, which, if you've done surveys before and participated in this, like 20 to 30 is really good. So when you hit a 47, that's an engaged community. I'm not going to do too much talking tonight, but one of the things that I've noticed about this community is your engagement. And when you decide in 2015 to be irreplaceable in this community, there's an audacity to that. And the audacity means you actually have to be engaged. You can't be irreplaceable if you're disengaged. So I really appreciate that audacity to be irreplaceable in this community, because I think your community really does need the rock. So good on you, and for making that happen. Next, as we transition.
I think we're here.
Oh, sorry.
Good evening, I'm Dwayne, and let's see, we'll start with what stood out from the data. So impressive stats, but there was wondered what about the 1 out of the 12 that did not pass? Information about that. I wanted to understand a little bit better on the 92% IB rate, but yet 8 that wouldn't have the grades or the scores for Bright Futures. Just kind of a little, I think it was just a little more understanding of why we think there might be a disconnect there. Let's see. English and theater did extremely well, but there was questions about the math IB program and how students did that did pursue that. We also thought, not to disagree with the survey, but there were some comments, school communication has been great. And so,
Yay.
all right, next, we'll go to the next sheet quickly. Thank you. Okay, so things that were missing. That was, the math, how people did in the math IB scores. Maybe some prioritization of the opportunities for growth, were the ones that really stood out as either being extreme dissatisfaction or at least understanding, where there was a gradation of prioritization around those areas. There was a question about the non-respondent rates and other means of perhaps capturing information. Lots of information on the growth, which has been exciting, but what about students that have left, reasons, parent satisfaction, dissatisfaction, sort of exit interviews, kind of understanding that. More information about the grads. What do they do? Where do they go? And let's see, questions about what growthless means and what is going on with the meanness. Oh yeah, so I think the same questions on this culture of respect and conflict resolutions, there were some discussions, so that we probably could have checked off, but we agreed that was an area we wanted to understand better. So,
Great. Thank you. And so you guys have 2 papers, so put them both on that wall over there. And I think right beside you, they're next.
Oh, hello. My group believes in me, but our chart is a little disorganized here. So let's see what we have left. How do we measure up academically against other programs? So, in the same county, in the state, how do we compare? Not just with the IB pass rate, but overall is a question that we had. We know that we support students well who might be struggling or falling behind, but how are we supporting academically gifted children? Are we just above the standard in general? And so we're not pushing them further, but students who are excelling, how are we, making sure that they are staying on top? This is coming, I know, but something else we wrote down is new family communication. When people are new to the school, I feel like they have a lot of questions, and a lot of new things are unknown, and so giving them that information up front so that they kind of know what to expect and can prepare, I think is really important. I think that's it. We checked off everything else. We had a lot of discussion around discipline and making sure that we have consistency in discipline and having a culture of respect amongst the peers, I think is very important. So
thank you.
Everything else, yeah.
If you could put your sheet up on the wall as well, that'd be great.
Oh, okay, Matt, flip it the other way. Our table was great because we have K4 all the way through seniors, so we had different perspectives. So really the only thing we wanted to add, we really talked about facilities, like classroom design. I know you guys got some new furniture this year, which is cool, but K through 2 is very small. The kids are packed in, like kind of what is our plan for growth in that area. Health, Ty, you're the best nurse ever, but we'd love to see somebody else that does, you're not on the phone and putting Band-Aids on kids. And if they're sick, a space for them, if they are ill, to not be in front of all their, in the cafeteria getting really sick. So that would be something we love. And then Matt had a good question. He has a senior. So AI, how are we coaching the kids on this? Rules for them to follow. And then I'm sure they're using AI, and we'd love to know more about that. So everything else was kind of similar to anything else we should add?
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. If you just grab the other mic, then I'll actually ask you questions. Who's up?
You're good.
Are there anything? Yeah, nice. The last one's tough because we've
I
been
came
through the
in late
list.
too, so I wasn't here for the first part of it, but we got a lot of check marks.
Okay.
Repeats, and well, we did kind of talk about it. Work study. We said we'd love to see something like apprenticeship, like a shop class, robotics, engineering, something that gets into like practical application of things that they're learning here.
The rest are all checked.
Yeah, the rest are pretty much all checked. Did you guys
That's what happens in Boggle. Right? If you remember, the last one usually has one or two to read. Nobody's listening. They're on to the next round. Okay? I'm actually going to ask Erica to come up. While she's coming up, because there's a couple of things I think need to be cleared up around some of the statistics that I think would be helpful for all of us to hear and be on the same page around. Erica, one of the questions that's coming up is around like, what about that one person, or what do some of those numbers mean again? And maybe Sally, if you could pull those numbers back up just so we can reference them again.
Yeah.
And try to keep the big picture on that in terms of you're going to bring clarity to this for us. Okay.
Okay. So let me just talk about a couple things. So someone asked, how do we engage with people who didn't take the survey? We do. Well, we try to. If you don't want to be engaged, I can't force you to be, even though I have been known to like walk alongside cars and ask people questions. So, but no, we do collect data many ways. This is like formal collection for this strategic plan, but we do collect data from students in grades 6 through 12 annually. We do not from elementary school outside of like conversation and observational data. We do survey staff also. If you remember last year, that's where our Best Christian Workplace distinction came from. It was our staff survey. Outside of like those 3 stakeholder formal surveys, staff, parents, and students, we also do kind of like a lot of mini surveys. So we survey new families. They get one. It comes out in about a month, I think, Kayla. We also take notes on every personal meeting. So if you've ever asked to meet with me, which a lot of you in this room have, we compile those notes and make changes with those in mind as well. And so they come from a lot of different places. I don't take information from the web when I read it there. That's about the only place.
That clears up a bunch of questions that were out there around like where are we getting the data from that informs this. I think that's a fulsome answer to the data.
Yep.
Around some of the questions around that Fulbright Futures thing, did people get it? Did they not get it?
So out of the 13 students, 4 or 5 got it before, like 4 or 5 kids had Fulbright Futures before the IB information ever came out, okay? An additional, do I have that right? 4. 4 had it automatically just based on scores before their senior year, before IB tests. And then 8 more were added. Originally, we had 2 kids. I'll tell y'all how this works. Originally, our pass rate wasn't 92%. It was 80-some%. And we had 2 kids who did not get it out of our full diploma candidates. They are allowed a request to regrade. 1 student didn't get it. They passed all their tests. They didn't get it because of their extended essay. The other student was 1 point shy on 1 test. And so we asked for a regrade. We learned that it does not always mean you will get higher. Often it means your grade actually becomes lower. Our kid was granted a higher grade and got his IB diploma. The extended essay child, that student was advised not to write the essay, that he wrote. He did it anyways against our multiple warnings not to do that topic. And even then, he isn't allowed kind of a redo. He chose not to. And so, so I feel like it was very well orchestrated by the AIB, the regrade, all of those chances. They're wonderful in that way.
I think those are important distinctions and clarities. This is
Mhm.
just because some of the questions were coming up from the table specifically about that data. I wanted to make sure you had the answer to that as you walked out of the room today.
Yeah, I will speak to, there is one more IB diploma. So we offer the PYP, the MYP, and the DP. Those are your traditional IB diplomas. There is a CP, the career diploma, or CD, compare, which is a separate program that we are looking into, and it is more, I hear some of y'all talk about like real world focus, things like that. It does have like a distinguished focus, so it could be anything from business to sports management to welding. Yeah, I mean, it could be anything we want it to be. We are actually looking into that program. It would require more facilities. Yeah.
Erica, I think that's, I don't want to, you could be up here all night answering these questions. So we're going to give you time to go back to the box seat. Thank you though, Erica. That helps all of us. As we, sort of some of the specifics that were coming out, I thought were important for Erica to take a stab at. As a former educator, and I still am, but I don't work in the facility anymore, I was surprised that nobody's talking about trades. It's a big conversation, trade learning, skill learning, that kind of skill learning. I was surprised none of it was on that data, which is fine, but it came up in the conversation as what's missing. So I was like, okay, cool. Anyway, that was my thought. All right. The last question I'm going to ask, just change your focus a little bit away from just the specific data or just your specific thing. Okay? What should the focus be of the next 5 years? Now, this is tricky because you're at a table and you're going to kind of get them all down, right? So what should the focus be for the next 5 years of the school? Now, this is one of those moments where I could ask this question. If money wasn't an object, what would we do? That's a good one. Let people like that. That's a nice one, big picture. But I want to just, when we do strategic plans, the idea behind a strategic plan is where's our time, money, and energy going to be focused for the next 5 years? And what you noticed in that timeline slide was the time, energy, and money was focused on this in 2015. And they didn't lie. Okay, in 2015 they said this is what we're going to do. Guess what they did? They put their time, money, and energy into those things. 2020, what has this school been putting its time, money, and energy into? And if you haven't high-fived an administrator at the school in the last 3 weeks because of how good this place is, please do that. You guys they've dialed in on IB and you're crushing it. Okay, that's a great experience. But what's next? So stop on the, hey, that was now. Get away from the survey. I need to hear from you. In the same format, we're going to go in reverse, so you guys get to go first. What should the focus be? Okay? And drilled into it. Drill into, somebody says the same thing. Let's drill deeper into that. Next, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? Give us ideas. Because we're going to take these. This is going to be data and information for the group that's going to put this thing together. Questions on the question? All right. Go. Okay, we're going to start to wrap this up. Write your last thought down. Remember, you probably don't have to get them all. This is the moment where I ask you to put your pen down. And I want to share something before we get into the sharing part here. One of the keys, or one of the pieces that the wizardry behind writing strategic plans is making sure you capture the themes of the group as opposed to just the one-offs. I want to encourage you to realize that you may have a really important thing, but it might not get into the strategic plan right away. Okay? It doesn't mean it's not important. So as we share this out, please don't assume that everything that's going to be shared right now becomes your future. Okay? Also, people need to make decisions. And in the school has a great governance experience where the leadership of the school gets to make decisions. And they will make decisions based on the data that they've been given. This is part of it. Okay? And they're good at it. They've shown a great track record of being good at this. And so leave here tonight confident that you've given information, that your voice will be heard. It will be in someone else's handwriting. Okay? I promise you will not see your exact words in the strategic plan. But you will see ideas and thoughts that come from tonight, as well as some of the other data. Okay? Not one voice gets to write the plan. Many voices. And to the beauty of what Hector walked us through is our limits. We're limited. And God forgive us in our limitations when we think we've got it right. Right? So that set the tone for this next part. And so over here, we're just going to go reverse. So you guys get to go last. Team fun. Team fun, you're going to end it. Okay? Mike's coming over here. If somebody could do a readout. What should we focus on? All right, remember, check the ones. If they say something you have, check it off.
So I feel like what we kind of went for with the focus for the next 5 years is growth. What does the growth plan look like? If we're essentially capped for building space and school capacity at this location, what's the plan for potentially adding locations? In the meantime, expanding the opportunities for the students in terms of maybe partnering with local businesses, local trade unions, to kind of expand that profile of what's offered. Yep, and yeah, the growth potential improves the financial profile and allows for further growth and even more expanding of the opportunities and what's offered and the potential of what the school can give. But with that growth, we also, it's got to be carefully planned, and because ultimately we as parents have chosen this school because we want to keep our kids in a Christ-centered location, or in a Christ-centered school where they're going to be nurtured in that way. We want the academics to be outstanding as well, and so the growth has to be carefully managed, because if you just want to grow, you can grow, but you are going to lose some of the things that make this school what it is, and also continuity of the staff. Are we being competitive in the local area and in the state in terms of staff retention? Improving the staff or things of that nature. Sustainability of the financial health. um, yeah, investment opportunities versus operational expenses. Um, just kind of, yeah, just a general, I guess a general overview would be, yeah, the growth. We want the school to grow and to be better in the future, but we also want to make sure that it's the right growth.
Amen. That's thank you. That's a great kickoff. Yep. Thank you, Sally. Next is over here.
Okay. Oh, I'm Justin.
Hey, Justin.
Hello. So we talked a bit about our identity. Like, yeah, like how are we standing out from the community? And graduate retention or retention. Yeah, graduate retention. What was the? Oh, sorry. So. Well,
It was basically,
yeah.
it seems like the senior classes might be getting smaller as kids aren't sticking with us. I don't know why that might be.
Yeah.
Okay, just to repeat that for the recording. Sorry, 1 second, Justin. Just repeat that was around graduation retention as the senior years go on. For those who have that one. Sorry, did I cut you off there, Justin? Were you going to say that?
Yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
That, but
should have had my mic off.
And then more high school experiences. So like prom. I think we kind of touched on that, but earlier. But that was a big point for us moving forward. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then you got the check marks on the other ones that were brought
and
up.
Yes, we have the check marks.
Excellent. Thank you. Good work. Right to the next table. Yeah.
Okay, hello, it's me again. So our main conversation was, I really like what Erica talked about earlier, how the last 5 years, the goal was to really be irreplaceable in the community, which I feel like has been amazing. I'm newish to the school. We've been in the preschool for a little while, but I'm a kindergarten parent. And I truly feel very blessed to send our son here. It was never part of our plan. I'm from public school. I was a public school educator as well. But we're sending him here because we want him to have a Christ-centered experience. And so I truly feel, and the consensus of the group is for the next 5 years to really set our school apart. And so that's what we kind of feel about the culture, is really creating this holy culture. Because even though, we're newish here, I feel like some things are not different than what's in the world. I was giving an example of, when I walk into a volleyball or a basketball game and I go into the bathroom, my goal is not to hear the F-bomb being dropped by our students, because we should be different. Like, we should be set apart. And so I think that would be a huge goal. Obviously, we know there's limitations of that. We've all talked about physical space, time, and truly it creates, we have to have family buy-in and we have to have student buy-in. Like Whitney was saying, we have 600 families at this school, but look at this room. There has to be people that are interested in this. But we feel like it can happen, and we feel like it would be amazing to be that school that is now irreplaceable and now everybody's talking about, because our students are truly different. And that's why I'm sending my son here, because I want him to be different and I want him to be part of something that is amazing. Obviously, I think our academics are already top notch, and so it can only continue to be improved from there. But I think anybody else have anything to say? Okay. That's it.
All right, comes one down now. Yeah, one more. Thank you, and yeah, please hang up your Post-it. Yeah.
Okay, so one thing that was touched on at our table was AI and how we're going to prepare the kids for a future with that being a big part of things, as well as the development of leaders, especially like in the high school years. Whatever path they choose, being able to be confident to speak up and speak out was the comment that was made. We actually spent most of our time talking about retaining high schoolers. that's kind of a problem. And so I'm challenged with that with my kiddo. So anything we can do to make that clear to the student that it's worth staying, because that's the message that's really hard to get through, is that they're, like you were saying, the student buy-in, getting the buy-in from the kids that this is the place to be. We talked about space, and we talked about Spanish in middle school only being 1 semester. There's concern about not enough, and that they're needing to have it more to build that confidence. So that's kind of a specific point, but it does lead into the confidence comment about just building a confident student through high school. So did I miss anything? No? Okay.
Thank you. All right.
Hello, everybody. Wow, that's loud. My name's Patrick. Sally
Patrick.
said not to embarrass her, so this is me embarrassing her.
Oh, right on.
I'm with Sally, if anyone didn't know.
Embarrass away, then.
She's really cute.
Aw.
You asked for it, so okay. All right, so we had some similar ones for sure, and so we also emphasized just the culture piece, and specifically Jesus, just being separate, like, and apart from everything else, and how do we infuse that more into the school, from the way we communicate to each other to the music we play and all sorts of things. We talked about how maybe in the past we were a little too controlling, and then maybe we've swung a little bit too lenient, and then how do we find that middle ground? We also talked about potential for like STEM, and improving what we are, like how can we become a leader in STEM? Specifically talked about maybe even partnering with, like, we have one of the greatest public universities in the country right here in our backyard. Like, could there be an opportunity there where we create a really good partnership with UF that has impact beyond just even the people that attend, and then we're, known in the community for that as well. And kind of with that, this idea of creating raving fans, which goes along with being irreplaceable, but specifically for the students, and having it be a place where when the students look back at their life, they think, man, those years at the Rock School were some of the best years of my life. And I think that does tie into retention and things like that. So how can we become a place that creates raving fans, both from the parents and the students who attend? And I think a lot of that, what it comes down to, what we landed on at the end, was really being a place that fosters student leadership, and that being a huge area of opportunity where we are empowering students to take ownership. So when we talk about more sports or extracurricular activities or clubs or things like that, like, how do we go from a place where, okay, you're being told what to do for every little thing, to now you are taking leadership and you're becoming a leader with your peers, and kind of creating some of these things yourself so that you're better equipped in the next season of life. Yeah. Oh. More microwaves for lunch.
Oh. Hey, I asked for details.
5-year plan.
I asked for details. Love it. I'm coming back in 5 years. Love it. All right, the last one.
No, there's
No, two more. Sorry. Team Fun's got to end it. You got any left, team?
We hit most of the points that have been spoken about already. Our main point was we created kind of like a web diversification. We have a really good DP program that prepares the students for liberal arts education in the future. And I know one table specifically talked about how do we engage gifted students that need a little bit more than what's being offered, like STEM. And then also, how do we diversify in a way that we create opportunities for students that might not see their future to be a college program. So how can we branch out maybe through some partnerships to allow for growth with the space limitations that we have right now?
Thank you. Thank you. I can walk too.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I've actually been here since the 2015 and the 2020, so I've gotten to see the swing. But I've also, because when we first got here, I would say that we were, so Christ-centered and so everything, and we still are, but we have the other part that I wanted then was more academics, and now we have these academics, and everybody's like, oh, well, let's get this. So we do obviously want to be both, so how do we partner that well? The Bible classes being biblical. I know that we've gotten some world religions and other things in there, but going back to just apologetics and just being Christ-centered. But I think somebody already mentioned it a couple times, but going back to something not necessarily non-IB, but something for everyone, like something that would be, me and the alarms, sorry guys, something that would be for other students that may not, like something that would celebrate each student for wherever they are. We have so many builders and different vocations that are here on our campus with the families. Like, what can we do to create apprentices, things like that? Yes, we wanted to see maybe a ministry development program also. But real world skills, like I think we mentioned that, the space. We wanted more of this. Lift it, guys. Higher. So the sports variety, the better buy-in for the students, we believe, is, and not to hurt any feelings, but less homeschool and more of our students. We have a lot of students that are playing, and like we just don't have a lot of our students buying into that. So where is that disconnect, and how can we encourage that to be better? The school spirit, getting more involved, the leadership, like we're talking about having these words in the bathrooms. If our students were on stage showing how Christ-centered they are, maybe they would be creating other students who are more Christ-centered, and so maybe putting them on stage and letting them speak and be more, vocal about what they believe in. Expanding inclusion. Do you want to speak to that? No. No. But just, just doing that, expanding that a little bit more, and I think that is it.
All right. Give yourselves a round of applause. Excellent. That one can go up on the wall as well. All right. So we're actually at the end of this tonight. Like we did this for an hour and a half already. Does it feel long? You ready to go home? You have one last thing to do. Okay, you got one last thing to do. At your table, and this to the staff and the leadership team, leadership group that's around, I want you to take a few notes on this. What I'd love for you at your table is to take 30 seconds, and you're going to think, what am I taking away from today? What's my takeaway? So when you walk out of here and your spouse or your child or your colleague at work said, hey, what did you do last night? What are you going to tell them? What's your takeaway? Because you're going to get asked. I hope you get asked. Oh, I hope you get asked what you did tonight. Okay? What are you going to tell them? What's your takeaway? Okay? 30 seconds. And then staff members, either just tap it out on your phone or write it on, you don't need to write it on a piece of paper. It's just a note. Okay? All right, ready? All right, share just around your circle. What's your takeaway? What's your takeaway? Each person gives one. Your takeaway. It doesn't have to be combined. One person can be, yeah. Make sure everybody has a chance to speak. Should just be one takeaway from the night. What's your takeaway? Once you all have had a chance, maybe give me a thumbs up sign. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. Make sure everybody's had a chance to give their takeaway. Put a thumb up at your table if everybody's had a chance. Got one? Are we wrapping up? Thumbs up if we're done. How are we in the back there? Pretty close? The conversation will continue once we end, I promise. Okay, let me wrap this up. About 10 years ago, I was in the same setting. I was Erica. I was the Erica of the school. And I desperately wanted this experience as a leader. I wanted to walk in a community, not the school. I wanted to walk into like Starbucks or wherever, pick your place you go. Publix, there you go. I wanted to walk into Publix and I wanted somebody to ask me where I worked. And I wanted to tell them that it was, in this case would be the Rock School. And I wanted to watch their response. I wanted them to go, oh, the kids at the Rock School are the best. Or something along those lines. Like, did you know that we had that choir come and sing, or that, basketball team was unbelievable, or whatever that was. It didn't happen for a long time for me. Last night I checked into my hotel. And I walked in. I won't tell you what I said before because I stuck my foot in my mouth. And she said, what brings you to Gainesville? And I said, oh, tomorrow I'm going to be at the Rock School. She said, oh, that's a nice school. I drive by it every day. I said, do your kids go there? She said, no. She said, but I know they do good things. And I thought to myself, man, I get it in another community, not the one that I wanted. I want to thank all of you for coming. God bless you guys. Keep having an audacious vision to be bigger than you actually are. It's unbelievable to listen to. I get inspired to work with the team when we get back together. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Stick around if you want to keep chatting, but take a treat with you. I'm sure your children need something tomorrow, okay?